All right, beloved soldiers, we will uh, we will go ahead on and get started with prayer. Everyone, please take the position of prayer. Surely I am being turned to thee, O Allah, being upright to he who originated the heavens and the earth. And I am not of the polytheists. Surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death are all for Allah, the Lord of the worlds. No associate has he in this am I commanded, for I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King, and there is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. So grant me protection against my faults, O Allah, for none can grant protection against faults except thee. And turn away from me the evil and indecent morals, for none can turn from me the evil and indecent morals but thee. But guide me, O Allah, to the best of morals, for none guides to the best of morals but thee. O Allah, bless Muhammad and the followers of Muhammad, as thou didst bless Abraham and the followers of Abraham. And make Muhammad and the followers of Muhammad successful, as thou didst make Abraham and the followers of Abraham successful. For surely thou art praised and magnified in thy midst. And, O Allah, we beseech your aid, guidance, and protection, your mercy and your forgiveness. We invoke your spirit, seek refuge in thee from the accursed Satan, from the reactive mind. We ask you, Allah, for your cleansing, your strengthening, your purifying, your presence on this meeting today, this last day of Ramadan. And we thank you, Allah, for helping us to be steadfast in our participation of reading the Holy Book this month. And most of all, Allah, we thank you for your servants, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, of whom, if it was not for them, we would not be here on this call and possibly not be here on this earth today. We thank you, and it is in their names that we ask and pray. Ameen. Ameen. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praises are due to Allah. We thank Allah for his coming. We thank Allah for Ramadan. We thank Allah for each other. And I hope that we prayed for each other in the last 24 hours. I hope we did what we said we're gonna do. And that makes me think about something that one of my mentors taught me a while back, and it has stuck with me for all of these 47, 40, well, with him, maybe it would have been 40, 45 years. And that is that when you say you're going to do something, do it. Before I learned the lessons, word is bond, he was telling me that, he said, well, whenever you put your word out there, make sure that you keep your word, because every time you keep your word, it strengthens your will. And every time you fail to keep your word, your will diminishes. And so we should keep our words, and keep our words in the best manner, in the best spirit of the words. So here we are, brothers and sisters, day 30. Day 30 of this magnificent fast of Ramadan. And getting ready to wind it down now by the grace of Allah. And so we can move on to the next phase of our development, move on to the next phase of our participation in the resurrection of the dead. And it's definitely good to see everybody this morning. 30 days, it's been quite a journey for me. And I'm not going to even say I don't know about you, because I do know about you. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that to know yourself is to know others. And I feel like we are flesh of each other's flesh and blood of each other's blood, and that we, as was demonstrated yesterday, I think we have certainly developed the kindred spirit, and are happy around each other, and that certainly makes me happy. Being somewhat, or you might, what you would call the patriarch of the group. And again, I do appreciate everyone's participation, for it has contributed greatly to my life, to the quality of my life, and hopefully, yours as well. So we're going to go ahead on, and I thought what we would do today is, along with the parts, we could also, at any time, you can interject maybe your favorite verse of the Quran. Your favorite verse of the Quran that are the most impactful Quranic cognition. So, boy, we got Quran Straightwire and Quranic cognition. Because Allah giving us all kind of new concepts. I got the scientists right now working on the nigrometer. And so hopefully we'll have one of those ready to move out soon. And so we just thank Allah on this last day. And I was telling my wife, I said, man, shoot, I ain't got to drink nothing this morning. I go dry mouth all day today. Of course, that's just a fantasy in my mind, because I definitely did drink something this morning. But anyway, it's good to see everybody, and so we can just go ahead on and start sharing. But I guess before we do, did anybody see that concert last night?
Beautiful. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Fun.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's wow.
Yeah,
Indeed.
I could
Oh
hear
my
that.
God.
That violin was sitting up here
Mm.
telling the minister to have mercy on me. Cause he was playing the strings off of that thing last night. Yeah. Well, actually, that was in 2002. And Belinda and I actually was at that concert. And I remember, I just remember so well. I remember the whole thing so well, And to show you how Allah is that we came into the building, and so we were sitting. We had we had a night that it's not a bad seat in that theater. If you could see, it's not a bad seat in there. But we came in there and I sit next to this other couple, and lo and behold, you remember the other day that I was telling you that I had did a lecture down at Albany State University called Trying to Solve Calculus Using Roman Numerals. I sit right next to a brother that was in that lecture. Had no idea that he was going to be there. And so actually, that was part of what brought him into Islam, And so he introduced me to his wife. So he said, yeah. So she was all perplexed that we were talking. And so she says, he said, yeah, this is Brother Stanley. And so she said, Brother Stanley. She said, the Brother Stanley. And of course I was flattered. Now, I ain't gonna tell you I wasn't flattered, but it was, it was a very impactful time where we were really dealing with a lot of the things that we deal with in STW, because you notice that especially when the minister would go into the colleges, he would say stuff like he would give it in sort of he would give his lectures almost like a professor would, that's when the first time I ever heard him talk about he who prescribed the diameter of your knowledge also prescribed the circumference of your activity, and those were just some great times for me. And I remember it was also a time that right after I had been relieved from the post in Macon, and I was just looking for something to do, and we went down there to Albany, Georgia, and started teaching those college students, and that was the beginning, really, of the mosque in Albany today. So we were able to do that by Allah's grace. So anyway, we're in part 30. So who would like to start off with their verses today? Not everybody at once.
Brother Martin.
Yes, ma'am.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, dear sister.
And everyone on the line.
Yes, ma'am.
I was wanting to understand you correctly. Are you saying it has to be within Surah 30, or is it just whatever you'd like throughout the Quran verse?
Well, yeah, I mean, today is part 30, and we want to put emphasis on part 30. But
Yes.
Since it is the last day of Ramadan, I'm opening it up because if you remember, Sister Jacqueline had a verse the other day that was from another part. And so I was just telling her that we was trying to stick to the part of that particular day, on that day. And so I just said that to signal that we will officially open it up to any part that you want to do today. But if you would, let's make sure that we do not neglect the part that we're on, which is part 30. But since this is the last day, we'll talk about any, and I think that's what I was, whatever the verse was that Sister Jacqueline was saying, I think we were saying that we would take that up today. All right. So today is the day, but let's, at the same time, I'm really interested also in us completing, what we started in the same manner that we started.
Yes, sir. So I can come back. I will come back and we can
Okay.
start.
That
in
yeah,
30.
that would be good. Maybe if we can just at least get started on part 30. And
Yes, sir.
it'll make me feel better.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. If we start on part.
And we certainly want you to feel better, Brother Bati.
Praise be to Allah. Yeah, I ain't feeling too bad. Too bad. I get sometimes my sleep has been a little erratic during this Ramadan, but I think since we have been meeting every day, I have gained some consistency, in my sleep because, just knowing that that you're gonna be up. A lot of times, I get up and I'll do my reading, and then a lot of times I'll go back and I'll take a nap before we get started. But okay, so we at part 30. Anybody?
78:13.
Okay.
And we made a shining lamp. And the footnotes refers that lamp being the sun, and that made me think of our sun, the life-giving sun, S-O-N.
Praise be to Allah.
And I have nothing to go with the Dianetics and Scientology on that.
That's yeah. Well, see, when you think about it, when you think about it, you've got in the makeup of the angels, you have that best part of your mind rolled up, or the self-accusing period, the best part of your mind rolled up into one entity. See, and so we got in the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. You could look at him like a shining lamp, and he represents the best part of Black people rolled up into one entity. I could see it like that. All right. Go to 29, sister.
Oh, okay. Give me a minute.
Oh, Lukeman's got hand. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Go ahead, brother.
Family. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I had my visuals on my computer, but my sound is through my phone. I must have a gremlin in my computer. So
yeah. What got a demon, computer demon.
Yeah, it's aberrated. I started on 78 and 19, and 19 had so much information in it, I had to go back as far as 17. So I'll do 17 through 20 very quickly. Is our angelic voice on?
Oh, yes, sir. I was not sure if you were going to read it or if you wanted me.
I'd rather hear you read it, sister. 17 through 20.
Praise Allah. In the most holy name of Allah, the beneficent, the most merciful. Surah 78, the announcement. Ayat 17. I seek refuge in Allah against the accursed Satan within and without. Surely the day of decision is appointed, the day when the trumpet is blown. So you come forth and host, and the heaven is opened, so it becomes as doors, and the mountains are moved off, so they remain a semblance.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you. I cleared these 4 ayats in the Arabic, and by Allah's grace, this is what I was given. The day of decision is the literal translation of decision is the day of separation. It's a day where people will be divided into different groups. And the same word for decision also means to make clear, to disassociate or detach.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a separation that's taking place. And then where it says, in the day when the trumpet is blown, so you come forth in hosts. Well, we could say the trumpet would answer the above verse of shining lamp, because the trumpet we could say represents the minister on one level. But when I cleared that word trumpet, the word trumpet also means a carbon copy, a pictorial representation, a picture or a photograph. So when the trumpet is blown, we know there's a term in Dianetics when you blow the engram and you release the charge from it. And here the trumpet would represent a facsimile. The day when the trumpet is blown, so you will come forth in hosts. To blow means to release pressure. And trumpet in Arabic is asuri, which also means carbon copy, which is another word for facsimile. So we have two groups being separated. It's a day when some facsimiles are being blown, some pressure is being released. And then it says, and the heaven is opened up, so it becomes as doors. The word heaven means to raise. It means to be elevated, to bring someone up. So we have people being raised. And then the interesting thing was the word open is Fatiha, which means to open the eyes, to grant success, or to inspire. But now one of the key words connected to Fatiha is the word miftah. And the minister has taught on the word miftah, which means key. And the key also defines as a system of tones, a map, a list of words or phrases, or characteristic styles or tones. And the abwab, which is the doors, describes that which is arranged in columns, groups, or classified. So the way I saw that was the classification is the chart of human evaluation, which has a system of tones on it. That's the heaven or the key. And it's connected to the day when those who have facsimiles will be blown. They'll be released. And then it says, and the mountains are moved off, so they remain a semblance. Well, the word mountain means difficulties, but it could also represent inturbulence. So when the inturbulence is, when the mountains are moved and they remain a semblance, it's like when you release, when you remove the engram and now you refile it into memory. So that mountain of emotion, the word mountain also meant a ridge, like a mountain ridge. And a ridge, L. Ron Hubbard says, is two energy flows coinciding and causing an turbulence. So the mountain could represent an turbulence, but that mountain is removed and is refiled as memory now. So that was just the first four. The second group, which I won't go into, when you go from verse 21, it talks about surely hell lies in wait. So now you have the other group who didn't do the Dianetic auditing. They didn't follow the trumpet. The trumpet said to do the Dianetics. So here you have another group that's in hell. It says it's a resort for the inordinate. It says they taste not therein coolness nor drink. Interesting thing about that is the coolness or the drink is connected to having the burdens resolved or removed. So the way I saw it was, you have a day of decision, a separation. You have one group that's following the trumpet, and they're having their issues resolved and reduced based on this chart of tones. And you have another group that didn't follow the trumpet, so they remain in their state of aberration. And it says here, living therein for long years. So as long as they didn't follow the instructions of the trumpet, they will remain in this state or condition. But that's how I saw those four
Yes, sir.
verses.
Praise be to Allah. All right. Sister Cheryl.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, brother. Something came to mind, brother. As we move up the tone scale, we can, I believe, hear the revelations. But for those who did not understand and follow instructions, do we have responsibility to go back and get them and pull them? I'm going back to that 144,000 again. Do we have the responsibility to go back and pull those who didn't have the understanding to follow the instructions?
I would say that we don't have the responsibility to pull them, because we're taught that there's no compulsion, but we have the responsibility to remind.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I
Thank
sent reminders out to different people today. And many years ago, I would get frustrated and angry because I would send reminders out for different things and people didn't respond. But then I was talking to my depth of programs one day, and he said, well, how's everything going? I said, well, I'm just trying to keep everyone, what did I say to him? I said, I'm trying to keep everyone happy. He says, you can't keep everyone happy. You can only keep everyone informed.
So
And
that
that's you can't keep everyone happy. You can only keep everyone informed.
okay.
Yeah.
So our duty is only to remind people. I sent reminders out for today, but I can't chase after people and force people to show up. If they wanted to be here, they would be here.
Yes, sir.
That's true.
One more question for both of you all. L. Ron Hubbard speaks about wasting people, and I've gotten that attitude. I need to help the people who want to be helped, not go pull people. So both of you make a comment on that, please, and I'll be quiet.
You can go ahead, Brother Batin.
What was the specific question you were saying?
In one of my courses, L. Ron Hubbard talks about, and I don't remember which course, that sometimes you just got to waste people. You just got to, and I can't remember the whole context, but I kind of feel that people don't want to reach out when we're trying to help. I'm not going to pull them and force them. I'm just going to waste them, kind of write them off, because it's people who want to do better. I kind of used to feel guilty about that, not so much anymore, but I wanted you two to make a comment on that.
Yeah, well, waste is something that is in some of the auditing commands. Is waste, the concept of waste. And so waste, the concept basically points to a disconnection with something, or realizing the point at which this particular thing is not useful anymore. See, when you throw something in the waste basket, it's performed its purpose. So it becomes a waste. You know what I mean? When you eat your meal and then you go to the bathroom, the body's perform what it needs to do with that meal, and so what comes out is waste. You see, and so I think and so the thing it's waste. So it's something that you had at one point was valuable. You used it up, and so now you have you can justifiably discard it. Something that you can connect. You can cut your connection or cut your ARC with. So I hope that spreads some light on it. I don't know if that really answered your question, but
Yes.
Can I add to that?
yeah, go ahead, please.
As you were speaking of waste, I was thinking of that even waste has a purpose in that individuals, our duty is only to remind. No one twisted our arm to get to where we are right now. No one paid us a fee to study. No one paid us a fee to do the auditing and take time out of our schedules to try to help other people. We do this because we believe that Allah has raised us to do this. So when we invite people to this, there are people that kind of stay in contact with me, and every time they're in contact, they're speaking to me. I got one brother in particular about how bad things are, and he's going through this and he's going through that and going through this. And I keep saying, brother, you got to come and you got to do this and do this. And he's, yeah, brother, I know. Yet he still doesn't come. So I won't throw him off. I'll constantly remind him. But the waste serves a purpose, because when we see individuals, friends, family, other believers who have not followed the instructions of what Minister Farrakhan has given us, and we observe the type of hell that they're in right now, then that waste serves a purpose for us to hunker down and get more in depth and in tune with what the minister has instructed us to do. So they still serve a purpose. They serve a purpose as to what not to do.
That's good from both of you, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, praise be to Allah.
Thank you, brothers.
Right. Okay. 29, Sister Haviva.
Yes, sir. Ayat 29. And we have recorded everything in a book.
Okay. And the book, I think one reference to the book is the mind. The mind is the repository of facsimiles. And so everything that he says, everything, he didn't say just the things that you consider important. He says everything. He's recorded everything in a book. And so I remember the minister talking about that as well over the years. And I'll just go ahead right quick. 31 says, surely for those who keep their duty is achievement. And so it goes back to what we were saying when it was about belief and do good to do good and keeping your word. If you keep your word, then you achieve. In other words, achievement is something. It is the attainment of a higher gradient on some level. Some level of a higher gradient when you achieve something. Achievements. Sister Jacqueline.
Yes, sir, Brother Barteen. I just wanted to say that when you said that the book is the mind.
Yes, ma'am.
Your OP is admirable, sir.
My what now?
Your OP is admirable. You remember when the minister met with the Sure Council? It looked like it was the Last Supper. He told everyone to put their devices away. I need you to use your OP. That's your official paper.
Okay, all right.
Yours is admirable, sir.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Praise be to Allah. Official paper.
Yeah, OP.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Not me.
You gotta go a little deeper than that. You sparked me on that one. OP, explain that.
Official paper. He said when the lessons. Let Sister Jacqueline explain. Go ahead.
I believe it was back in October when he met with all of the counselors, the ones who are going to be in charge. He asked them to put all their devices away. He didn't want any pen or paper because he said the devil's writing is in the ink, and that he wanted everyone to use their OP. And the OP is your official paper, your mind.
The OP that's mentioned in our 13 rules of instruction.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the supreme wisdom. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Right.
okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
All praise is due to Allah. All right. What else? What else do we have here? Okay, I'm gonna be like the auction. 38.
Ayah 38. In the day when the Spirit and the angels stand in ranks, none shall speak except he whom the Beneficent permits, and he speaks aright.
Do the next two as well, sister.
Yes, sir. That is the true day. So whoever desires may take refuge with his Lord. Truly, we warn you of a chastisement near at hand, the day when man will see what his hands have sent before. And the disbeliever will say, oh, would that I were thus. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. I guess when 38 is when the day when the Spirit and the angels stand in rank. That's when all of the forces of good begin to align themselves, and they are in ranks. And none shall speak except he whom the Beneficent permits, and he speaks aright. I think that's pretty much self-explanatory there. But he says, he goes on in 40. He said, we warn you of a chastisement near at hand, the day when man will see what his hands have sent before. And that seems to point to the calm lag. See, there's a calm lag in the universe. We talked about the calm lag. So there's certain things that are put out there, certain things that are postulated, and you may not see the effect. Postulate is causative thinking. So if you cause something, then there's an effect on the other end of the cause. And so he's saying that the effect is near at hand. And then he goes into the anatomy of cause and effect when he says the day when man will see what his hands have sent before. Okay?
Brother Batin,
Yes, sir.
would you consider everyone in this Zoom meeting on any level, would you consider them an angel? I'm saying that all of us.
Yeah, well, I think everyone, I think that we are developing angelic qualities. So we're developing angelic qualities by our study. Our nature is causing us to organize the data that we extract from this meeting in such a way that adds to that part of our personality that is angelic. See, so in other words, just like we do hypocritical things, but we're not hypocrites. You know what I'm saying? You know, we only are hypocrites when we manifest hypocrisy. So that might not be the best. That might not be the best example. But those of us are on this call. We are feeding ultimately the angelic nature within us. We're feeding that personality. You understand what I'm saying? That personality that saves you, that personality that is driven by the self-accusing spirit. We are accumulating data that makes firm the arguments that would be put forth by the angel, that would be whispered into the hearts of man. So you got one, they said that Lucifer was an angel, right? So, and I think when he said that Lucifer was an angel, he's really talking about this personality. The personality was once an angel, it once dwelled in the higher regions of the mind. And then there might have been something that happened that caused the attention or caused the tone scale of this particular aspect of the angelic personality to fall down below 2.0. So I would say that we are feeding the angelic nature. And I think on the one hand, you can say, yeah, we all are angels, whether that's our primary function or not, I can't say that, but I definitely think that we're going through some we're going through some angelic training, because the angels got to be trained too. See, go ahead.
Yeah, the reason why I ask is as that ayat was read, it said the day when the spirit and the angels stand in ranks, none shall speak except him who the beneficent permits, and he speaks aright. And then I looked at the screen and I see the faces of the brothers and sisters in this room, and our faces are actually arranged in ranks.
Okay. All right, Angel.
Now, I'm talking to the angels.
Yeah, well, that's one of the ways that we had been defining it over the last 30 days is that see, a person, the angelic aspect can be manifest. In other words, all of us have the self-accusing spirit, and we are all accumulating data. Even the people outside of this call, we have angelic tendencies, angelic propensities, or angelic potential for when you ever just talking to somebody that was having some problems or whatever the case may be, and then you just said something almost inadvertently that was the exact thing that this person needed to hear. I think that that's how generally angels work. And I'm sure that there are more levels of it, but that's kind of how I see it. And I try to, that's how it's arranged in my mind that the angel could actually be anybody that is developed high enough to have the insight. And then sometime maybe Allah himself will give this person the insight, but it's still based on something that this person knows that actually makes him or her an angel. Yes. All right. Okay. Anybody else? Come on, y'all. What y'all doing? Y'all not still laying down in the bed. Hopefully. I know it's the last day of Ramadan and everything. You know, are you preparing your meals? You just not on camera. You already got all of the onions and the lentils and the garlic and everything.
Brother Batim, we're yielding to you today. We know you have about 3 or 4 pages, sir. So we're yielding to you today.
Yeah, well, I wanted to hear what some other folks had to say too, and we were. Belinda asked me about how we were going to deal with all of this leftover stuff that we had not addressed. All of these days that we went where we got into maybe around 1/10 of the ayats. We need something is going to have to be done about that.
We can do another 30 days.
Yes, sir. Yeah, but it won't be this 30 days. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah.
I have 79.5.
Go ahead then. Sister Haviva, 79.5. Go ahead. Thank you, Belinda.
79.5, ayat 5. And those regulating the affair.
And once again, yes, ma'am. What I had on that was the regulating. We've been on the measuring and the mathematics.
Hmm.
And I needed.
How about that?
Yeah, and I needed some fill-in after that.
When you say regulating the affair, that immediately made me think about the thought, emotion, effort scenario, where it says that the motion, and I forgot the word that it used in thought, emotion, and effort. Emotion. It regulates. Emotion regulates the effort. But that was another word that we were using that we had got. Regulate was one of the synonyms of part of the definition. So those that, when you go back up, I guess you go up, yearning. What is the name? What is this? Those who yearn. And I think we may get a little bit insight when we start talking about or thinking about the whole thing of yearning. What is it when you yearn for something? You know, and it makes me think of something that the minister was saying about us yearning to be free, that we are desiring to be free. And it takes me back to the Sufi things that we were talking about. We were talking about will, wish, and desire, you know, where you have a wish. A wish is like a yearn. So those who wish, and then those who go forth cheerfully, and those running swiftly. It seems like that's kind of a gradient thing. And those that are foremost going ahead, and those regulating the affair. I don't know. That's the best I got on that. Go ahead, Brother Luke.
The word regulating, just a definition off the top of my head, I think would mean to control. Regulate would be to control. But now the word affair in Arabic is amar. And the word amar means always demanding, inciting, and it's also the baser self of man that incites to evil. So one way of looking at that verse would mean to control the lower, baser side of self. I guess that would mean to have control over the reactive mind.
Anybody?
Yes, Brother Bartine.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Okay, I'm having internet issues here. I guess because of the weather, and so it keeps going off. So I had to do like Brother Lukman and switch over to my phone. In this verse, regulating the affair, and also the previous reference to 78:38 about the day when the spirit and the angels stand in ranks. The footnote for verse 5 of 79 again references angels in ranks. And it says that C37:1a, where it is shown that this is a description of the believers. So Surah 37 is called those ranging in ranks. And it references the footnote there, and it talks about prayer, and those lined up in prayer. It says, "Or praying, standing in ranks," which the Muslims do 5 times daily. And then it references the second verse. The second verse says, "And those who restrain, holding in restraint." And the footnote says, the second verse describes them as holding in restraint their passions. So a people who were ruled by their passions or their sensual desires were so entirely changed that they became complete masters of their passions. And then it goes on to give some other explanation of us holding in restraint a powerful enemy.
Mm-hmm.
But it made me think about the conversation yesterday and then all what's been said of today. And it made me think of the tone scale, because when the question was put forth about the angels, for some reason I thought about the tone scale and the range of the tone scale, and that angels, you have we normally think of angels as being good, but all angels can be bad as well as good. And so that I referenced that with where we are on the tone scale, and also the reference in the Bible to Jacob's ladder and angels ascending and descending up and down Jacob's ladder. And so again, we have to become master of our emotions, masters of our passions, and keeping our appetites in check, which is what we've been focusing on throughout this whole 30 days of Ramadan. The different appetites, and this is a training for us. So I just was looking at all of that, that might somehow, have some significance there.
Right. The only thing I would say is that, we want to look at it in the context. And I think you say that an angel can be bad, but I think that a bad angel is, if it gets bad, then it's no longer an angel. Then
Right, it becomes
then it becomes a demon. you know.
Right, it becomes.
But then,
yes, sir.
and so what you have, and I think goes back. What you're saying is definitely, you know, adding to what we're saying. When you look at, and that's what I was saying when we looked at this particular verse here, verse 1 through 5. It seems like it's talking about the different gradients. You got people yearning, then people going forth cheerfully. So that's a different gradient, you know what I mean? And then those running swiftly, those who are foremost. And so when you have you have the angelic type of the angelic reality. But then when we gave the example of Lucifer being a fallen angel, well then, and you just gave what I thought was an excellent example when we start talking about Jacob's ladder. You got the angels descending and angels descending and ascending. So I would think that at a certain threshold, then the demon maybe become an angel, or is transformed into an angel. And then I think that also based on what you were saying, we talk about what did it say in the Bible about an angel? Satan was transformed into an angel of light. And I remember the minister was referring to the Pope of Rome as being Satan transformed into an angel of light. And I'm just saying all that to have us to differentiate, to make this discernments, because if he's transformed into an angel of light, so I don't think that, in other words, he's still Satan, but he has the appearance, he has light, but in other words, so you start talking about angels and demons, you're talking about two different polarities. See, so it's you really an angel is good, a demon is bad. Now they may serve different. Sometimes the demon may serve a good purpose. Well, then we know all things work for the good of those who love the Lord. But I think it's very important that we understand, we don't want to confuse, a bad angel. I don't think angels are bad. A good demon, well, he's only good to the effect that he is carrying out a purpose of making us better. So I hope I addressed that. But those are definitely good points, especially the one where we're talking about the angels descending. Because if you are descending, what could that mean? That could mean that maybe the angels ain't perfect. Maybe the angels, discovered something that kicked them down on the tone scale or whatever, And then the ones that are the demons, well, we are taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that that hell is meant for purification. So,
Well, may I add to that, Brother Batin?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I remember the minister explaining to us that one time that when, in order to help a person that is at a certain level on the tone scale, whatever that is that if you approach them, let's just say you're in a state of absolute bliss. I'll just say that. I don't have the tone scale in front of me, but
that's tone 40.
If you're approaching them from tone 40 and they're at tone, let me pull out the.
I get you. I get your point. I see where you're going. Continue.
Right. So it's okay. Here it is. So if they're at antagonism at 2.0, and you approach them from 8 on the tone scale of exhilaration, you're not going to reach them. He said that you have to come down to just above where they are.
Yeah, to optimally, to optimally communicate. Yes, go ahead.
So then I see that as as coming up and down the tone scale. You're using it as a tool, descending up and down the tone scale to achieve your purpose. And so in 78, 38, the footnote, it says, and if you don't mind, I'm going to read most of it because I think it's relevant to all what we're discussing.
Go ahead.
It says, the spirit, Al-Ruh, and the angels are spoken of together on 3 occasions in the Holy Quran. The first one is ascending to God, for which see 70 verse 4, 97.4 or 97 verse 4 as descending on earth in Laylat al-Qadr, and here as standing in ranks on the Day of Judgment. In 16 verse 2, the angels are spoken of as descending with Al-Ruh, which is evidently divine revelation. Al-Ruh means Gabriel, or a higher class of angels above the ordinary angels, or the spirit of man when it leaves the earthly body. In the last mentioned case, the word Al-Ruh can be applied only to the faithful, people in whom the divine spirit finds an awakening. The word Al-Ruh really signifies divine inspiration or divine revelation, and Gabriel is called Al-Ruh because he brings the divine revelation to the prophet. The human spirit can, in fact, be called Al-Ruh only when it receives light through divine inspiration. The meaning would thus be that on the Day of Judgment, the faithful and the angels stand in ranks in the presence of God.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. So again, just that it in angels, you have different types of angels,
right?
Because the angels have different functions.
That's right. It's just like and that's what we were saying initially when we were talking about angels, that they're different gradients of angelic reality, and he right here is talking about the higher, the different gradients of angels, but the description here, I don't think that covers 100% of the definition of angels. That's just describing certain types of angels. And I think what we were saying when we're talking about the descending and the ascending, I think we kind of touched on that a little bit as well. So yeah, that is, I think that helps. That helps a lot in understanding, getting a little bit more comprehensive understanding of angels. So I think Brother Lukeman's hand was up next. Go ahead, Brother Lukeman.
I just wanted to add to what Sister had said. There's a verse in the Holy Quran, it's Surah 6, Ayat 35, that says, and if their turning away is hard on thee, then if thou canst seek an opening into the earth or a ladder to heaven to bring them a sign. And if Allah please, he would certainly have gathered them all to guidance, so be not of the ignorant. And the word ladder, when you translate that from the Arabic, one meaning of the word ladder is scale. So that ladder would fit, it would have ARC with a tone scale, possibly.
I can see that. I can see that.
I was just finding it, because she had mentioned Jacob's ladder, And I believe that's in the Bible, but I was trying to make sure we could find it in the Holy Quran as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Sister Jacqueline.
Sir? Oh, that's from earlier when I was talking about OP, brother. I didn't remove
Okay.
that. My
All right.
apology. Thank you.
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
lower
Yes,
you.
sir. Lower my gauge. Thank you. 51, 55. Thank you,
You're
sir.
right. 51, 55. All right. All right. It's all good. Yeah, but that's great. That's a excellent comparison, Brother Lukman, and an excellent pointing out, Sister Ania. I think all of these they are and should be helpful in our understanding, like they say, our overstanding of the concept of angels. And so my approach is that I leave myself open to all of the different things. See, once we start thinking that we understand, that that we have the understanding of angels, then that's actually when we stop. We cease to grow. And so we have to, and that's one reason why we are all here together, is because each one of us has something that the other one don't have, and contribute to this particular type forum here. So thank you, Brother Lukman. Thank you, Sister Ania, for that. All right, let's move on to the next. Anybody else got anything? I know we was at number 79.5. Go ahead on and read 23 and 24. 79, 23, and 24, Sister Haviva.
Yes, sir. Ayat 23. So he gathered and called out. Then he said, I am your Lord, the Most High. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. So I'm trying to see why did I do? Where did I flag that? And of course, now you know that every one of these verses have Dianetic references. Every one of them. Now, don't ask me what they are. I can give you my opinion on some of them. So he gathered and called out. Then he said, I am your Lord, the Most High. Well, one thing, whenever he just reinforces the fact of who he is, saying Allah, is that he kind of straightens us out, in that we have a tendency to drift from the reality that Allah is the sovereign, that he is, the all in all. He is the ultimate. He is the end all, and he is the tell all. And so we have to be reminded, that you go 51, 55 again. We have to be reminded of these things. So he gathered and he called out, I am your Lord, the Most High. So obviously that was the detection of people not recognizing that, not acknowledging that. And see, it is the acknowledgement. Oftentimes, the acknowledgement is something that puts you in present time. See, it puts you in present time, because when you acknowledge, it's just such a very important thing, because the acknowledgement is a confirmation of value. See, when I say Assalamu alaikum, the rule is to return the greeting with a like or a better greeting. And then the principle, or one of the principles in there, is that you acknowledge. So I communicate a gesture to you that you are of value. So if I think enough of you to say this prayer of Assalamu alaikum for you, then I have given you something. And so Allah in turn said, well, you have to give me back. So that means you have to, there's a balance that has to be fulfilled there. Okay. All right, 28 and 29.
Ayat 28. He raised high its height and made it perfect. And he made dark its night and brought out its light.
That's another one there. I don't know. Maybe I was asleep or something when I was flagging that. I was thinking about the lamb chops or something. I don't know. He raised high its height. The 27. Are you stronger in creation or the heaven? It's just, I guess. Well, I got here in some of my flag verses. To save time, I would just put little acknowledgments. Like I said, that one I put SE. Whenever something refers, when I see something that refers to tone, scale, position, I'll just put TSP. And so when I put SE here, SE just means self-explanatory. Because he's basically kind of calibrating us as believers. He said, are you the stronger in creation or the heaven? Who's the strongest? Makes me think about one of my, not only one of my, I got a couple of my piano students, every once in a while they start saying, well, this is it, and then they want to start the book and all this stuff. I say, look, who is the teacher? I said, are you paying me to teach you, or am I paying you for you to teach me? So who is strong? You understand what I'm saying? So people have to be recalibrated sometimes, and I just think that's kind of a confirmation of who and what Allah is. All right, now I've done about three or four in a row.
83, 1 through 3, Sister Haviva.
Yes, sir. Give me a moment to get to it, beloved. 83, 1, 2,
and 3. Yes, ma'am.
1, 2, and 3. Yes. Surah 83 al-Tifbit, default and doing. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful, Ayat 1. Woe to the cheaters who, when they take the measure of their dues from men, take it fully. And when they measure out to others or weigh out for them, they give less than is due.
Okay, what I got out of that one was the deception of a cheater. And we've been studying the service facsimile, deceptive intelligence, and of course, measure, our favorite word lately, things being measured mathematically. And that is it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I had that one flagged too. And then the thing that I got out of that one is that the cheaters is, the cheaters, when you cheat someone, you are, you're committing an overt, and cheating is something that throws you. If you cheat somebody, you're really throwing your own mind out of balance. You're trying to trade some kind of advantage of what you're getting from the cheating transaction. You're weighing that more than what is happening to your mind, than the confusion. Some people, some people think, well, yeah, I'll get over. That's what they use. That's how they say, I'm going to get over on you, or whatever the case may be. And so so that's a description oftentimes of cheating, or having been cheated on. And so the injustice, there's an injustice and a disturbing of the balance. And so he says, whoa, what is that? What is that? Can you figure that out and tell me what that is in Arabic, brother Luqman? Whoa. Woe to the cheaters. That made me think about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, woe to America, she's in trouble. I might have channeled him a little bit, huh? You think? I don't know. Yeah, woe to America. And you think about, and I have a special kind of affinity because that little dialect that the messenger had, that's the same that my father had. My father used to talk like that.
Mine too.
Mm-hmm. And the message, every once in a while there's a couple of lectures I heard with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad where he was just absolutely on fire. I'm talking about he had the fire. He had the flame thrower out, brother Luqman. Had a flame thrower instead of the fire hose. He had the flame thrower out. I'm sorry. I'm asking you. I'm asking you to do something and trying to talk to you at the same time.
I found it.
Okay, go ahead.
It just so happens that the word in Arabic is wail, W-A-I-L.
Okay.
And it means calamity, disaster, distress, misfortune, and adversity.
Okay, right. So when he says woe to the cheaters, then that means so now we got that come lag that comes when you do the overt. But see, you actually getting the double. It's like you're getting a double punishment because you installing some kind of lock whenever you do the overt. But then at the same time, you are initiating an equal and opposite reaction from the universe or from whatever the atmosphere, whether it's the universe, whether it's emotion, it could be, a counter emotion, counter thought, counter effort. And it just talks about people who take the measure of their dues when they take it fully. So these are people who are who have this problem. They want to have everything. A lot of times they are operated on that first dynamic. They're self-centered. They're not thinking about what they're doing affecting others, which is the definition of overt, is when you do something against one or more of the dynamics, you see. And it describes the thing that we say in our prayers about niggardliness. Niggardliness is really talking about that first dynamic, that aberration on the first dynamic. Because when you owe me, I want everything you owe me. But when I owe you, I ain't, I'm trying to hold back something. I want to give less than the due. And then I think there's that word due again. See, These are things that I think deserve a lot of attention. The thing about due, give Allah his due. And see, and what that does, that keeps the universe in balance. And see, it's a law that keeps the universe in balance. And this goes back to what the minister teaches us about the imperfection of the universe, the imperfection of creation. It causes a wobble in the earth. It causes a wobble in man's nature. So when we, in order to keep the wobbling from absolutely driving us bonkers, we have to adhere to the law. When we adhere to the laws of righteousness and ethics, it keeps the ride smooth, because there is the wobble in our nature makes us tend to want to get everything. We want to get everything, but we want to give as little as possible so that we can have as much as we can for ourselves. And so this is why the minister, by the God, he just pricks our conscience over and over he said, give, spend out of what I have given you. He said that when you walk the street, the beggar has a right. The beggar owns part of what's in your pocket. You see. And that is one of the things, just the reality and the realization of that somebody asked me for something, because you know how sometimes you may be with a friend. I know a lot of times I be with a friend and somebody come up to me and they ask, brother, can I get some change or something like that? And then I used to be like that too sometimes. You know, he's just a beggar and so on, something. You know, why you this or why you that? Now I'm growing to the point, by Allah's grace, that I don't mind pulling out a couple of dollars, even if the guy is running game. Well, that's irrelevant, really. The thing is that you don't want to throw yourself out of balance when you could help somebody. And that's part of your nature too. Part of your nature is to help people. If you don't help somebody that you could help, then you are creating aberration within yourself, you see. And so, Sister Cheryl, go ahead.
I cut you off, brother. I just wanted to.
Oh no, that's all right. I'm good. I'm good. Go ahead.
I just had a cognition I wanted to share with you all. And I guess realize this: as much as Allah has blessed me or us, it behooves, and I'm kind of anxious to serve, because it's like He's tunneling in blessings to me, and I have to outflow. If I don't outflow to help serve, I stop up my channels.
That's right.
So let me just shut up, because I wanted y'all to make a comment. I just had a cognition. It's an honor to serve. I realize to serve humbly and give back with all the blessings Allah have given me. And probably I didn't deserve a lot of it, but He gave it to me. So I'll be quiet. I just wanted to share that cognition just hit me, just surfaced. I hope I knew it all the time, but it just sort of surfaced now.
Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah.
All right. Anybody else got anything on that one? So Belinda, you and I were literally on the same page on that one. How about that?
Praise be to Allah.
Ayat 19 in that same surah. It sounded like somebody else is trying to say something.
Habiba was about to say something.
Okay.
No, I was just want to comment on that little bit. When I heard somebody used to say, that you can't keep it unless you give it away. Have you heard that before?
Okay. Yeah, I've heard it in a lot of different ways. And then the Philadelphia doctorate course, Brother Luke Munn, you may recall him saying that. Said you can have anything that you don't want. You know, someone that's the principle he talks about. And I don't remember exactly which lecture it was, but it boils down to saying whatever it is that you don't want, you can have. And the principle is in the scriptures too, where it says that he that seeks to save his life will lose his life, and he that seeks to lose his life for my sake will gain eternal life. So the thing is that, see, we have attachment to things, and Allah want us to be attached to Him. See, we are attached to creation, where we really should be attached to the Creator. And our enemy, the devil, has kind of programmed us to be attached to things. And that's why when Jesus was on the mountaintop, what was he tempted with? When he was tempted with things, you know. Minister Farrakhan was saying that when he was in New York, he said that he got invited over to Reverend Ike's place, and said that Reverend Ike had told him, said, "Man, you come and be with me, and I'll give you so and so. I'll give you all of this and all of that." You know what I mean? And so that's what the minister had interpreted that encounter with Reverend Ike as being likened to. Jesus went up on the mountain and was tempted. So I can I think that these things are very important. These things are very important. That is from a very practical standpoint. It's just, you know, let us not get so attached. And that was the thing that I had to overcome, you know, growing up as a only child. You know, I didn't have a brother or sister to play with or nothing like that. So my mama bought me a lot of toys. You know, I didn't have like a lot of toys, but I definitely had my share and probably half of somebody else's share too. And so I just got to the point where I just, I became a little covetous. And sometimes when my cousin from up north would come to visit us in the summer for a couple of weeks, I didn't want him to play with my toys, you know. And then, well, partially because he was just brutal on them. And when he got through playing with him, the toy was done. You know what I mean? You know, but that was just part of it. And part of it was just, you know, being a little selfish, you know. And that's one of the benefits that I get from being around my wife, Belinda. And she had 4 other brothers and sisters. And so she grew up in a culture where you had to share and you could give and take and all that kind of stuff. I didn't have to do that, you know. Matter of fact, I had people that was jealous of me because my mama would get me stuff, you know. Sister Denise, we was wondering where you were, sister. Come out from behind that sycamore tree. Come on.
I'm here. I'm fighting battles that, I thought about Ramadan, about the Battle of Badr when they were fighting in the heat, in the hot sun, fasting in the month of Ramadan. When I imagined that in my mind, I said, "Oh, I see you have to battle, but you still have to keep moving." And that's what I've been doing this morning. Okay. I don't know if, but I'm still here. So did we do part 30? Did we do 78, 31 through 33?
No, we didn't, but we can certainly do it.
Okay, it says, surely for those who keep their duty is achievement, gardens and vineyards, and youthful companions equal in age. Now I want to talk about this youthful companions, okay?
All right.
And how to eat to live, and how, you know, when we really follow the messages, teachers, people do not know your age at all. And youthful companions, like you know, my husband and I are in the process of doing something as far as housing. And I was looking at some books and I saw the seniors, you know, the real seniors. And I looked and I said, no, we're not ready for assisted living, you know, nursing home type
Right.
of stuff.
Right.
I said, we still ride our bikes.
Right.
And we love to, you know, to kick our heels, meaning dance a little bit, you know. I said, no, we're not ready for that senior citizen moment. You know, we have to hang with the young people right now. So that's and I thought about how you know, one of the young people said from the nation, he said, when I say youth, I'm not talking about age, he said. I'm talking about mindset. And it's not a child mindset. The minister says, some days I feel my age, then I wake up next day, then I feel 25, then I wake up the next day. He said, it's all according on how he said he feels. And he looked so marvelous last night, Brother Bettine. I was just, I mean, just to look at him and the way he was handling things, it was just beautiful. So I thought about that. You know, sometimes when I was teaching, they were saying about how people learn. And some people, you just tell them about it and they, let's go and do it. And then some people, they won't make a move till you have all the details in place. And that's how they learn. Then some people, they just need to see what the end's supposed to look like. You know, that's all they need to see is what, you know, what is the ultimate end of it. And I thought about that as you know, as we talking about in this surah about the achievement. So that's all I had to say. That's all I got right now.
Right. Yeah, and we did mention the thing about achievement. Is sort of like the confirmation of a higher gradient. In other words, when you attain a higher gradient, then that means that you have achieved. That is an achievement. Okay. All right. So, brother Luke.
I just want to make a comment to what Sister Denise said with regards to age. When it's time for me to turn 55, the way that I respond to people, they say, well, how old will you be? I'll say, I'm 25 with 30 years of experience.
They say this is the 30th anniversary of me being 25.
Yes, sir.
So I'm really 25. Well, I tell you, sometimes my body will tell me,
yeah.
Oh, you getting old, Negro. But my mind usually tells me, and then I think that's part of being an artist too. I mean, I was just so enamored with the minister last night, even though we were there and we saw it. We saw the concert when it was taking place, and boy, the minister was clean, wasn't he clean? And but it's something about the arts that make you feel young. And I guess I remember when hip hop music first came on the scene. And, I've always been, my whole adult life, I've been involved in music on some level as a means of income. And I was not playing music. When the minister, uh, when he decided to rebuild the nation, I put music to the side so I could help. And but I still had a little recording studio. And so I would, when the young people would come in and they say, I'm gonna rap. And of course, I'm like old school musician, you know what I mean? Old school R&B, jazz, and I see these people coming in with this new kind of music. And when I began to really look at it, and then had the blessing of seeing how the minister reacted to hip hop coming on the scene. The minister was very receptive and very admiring, and I kind of took my cue from the minister in terms of opening my mind. And then all of a sudden I started seeing the fact. I said, man, you got black folks, young black folks that's actually coming into this studio, and they come in with notebooks of things that they have written. See, before that, the only time black folks would write something they would have to be in school. So you write something, that means that you're studying. You got something that you're really studying. You're dealing with words now. You're engaging your mind with words. And I began to see a heightened awareness. And even everywhere you look, our people, we are just more intelligent. Because why? What we do, we get these words. When we get these words in a rhyme, excuse me, part of the goal of the rhyme is for the rhyme to make sense. In order to make the rhyme make sense, you got to know something about the words. And so I love that about hip hop. And then I think when you look at it, even though as a musician, there's just certain things that I just absolutely abhor about hip hop, because some of that stuff is just, it's brainless or mindless. Some of the so-called tracks that they have, just ain't no music, no musical, the musical value is almost -1, you know what I mean? But you get it, but when you observe them, you get that feeling of youthfulness. And when you begin to compare yourself, which is a natural thing to compare yourself to them, you come into contact with some of that youthful energy.
Yes,
And,
sir.
yeah.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely right. The minister said to hang around the young people, and I know my sons, when I was trying to come into their world, Brother Bateen, I mean, with that music, I mean, it's like I had to transform myself into another human being, because I said your ears about to hear some stuff, and but you got to go where they are in order to deal with them wherever they are.
That's right. That's right. Right.
And so I was like, I had this saying, I ain't scared. I ain't never scared. I mean, like, go in there. And so I went in there, and they were like, come on, let me teach you. Let me teach you. I was like, well, when you all say you drove, what are you saying? Are you saying, okay, we say you tripping. Y'all say you drove. Oh, okay. I'm trying to make sure that I can speak the language of the people.
That's right. That's right.
You know, so
That's,
they was trying to teach me their language, beloved. And
yeah,
that was beautiful, you know.
that's right. I remember my son, my oldest son, you know, he went through this little stage because he's sort of like a nerd, you know, and then once he graduated from high school and then started hanging around, you know, different crowd of people, and he went to Morehouse for a year, and then he started telling me about the sayings, true that. You know what I mean? Instead of that's true, he said true that, you know. And I remember a couple of other things that he kind of explained to me, which I'm very appreciative of. You know, you get a chance of to see what the youth are looking at. And then I remember back in '88, when Mas Mariam was opened up, I actually played on the concert. We had the concert where it was myself, Roy Ayers, and Public Enemy, Big Daddy Kane, and it was a whole different thing, you know, to see our people, our young people, and you just see the level of enthusiasm, and of course, when I was young, I love music. I mean, I love to listen to music, much less play it. But I just love to just really listen. I could just sit down and listen to music for hours, you know. And so we just wanted to say this too, because I had that thought, and it might even not even be relevant. We're a little past the time, but we'll go till 12. The minister really inspired me last night as a musician, because I know what it is, and I've one of my biggest problems that I've had as a musician is that Allah blessed me with a lot of natural talent. I could do a whole lot of stuff and don't even practice. You know, I picked up instruments and for the first time and played them. But the minister, you know, start talking about practicing 8 hours. Yeah, this man he was my age at that time, you know, in his mid-60s. And talking about this man practicing 13 hours a day. Man, I can't imagine practicing no 13 hours a day. And so what that just lets you know, because see, it goes back to the theta mess theory. You keep on doing it, and then you're gonna learn it. And I was looking at him as he was working that fingerboard on that violin. And see, that's, you know, you're talking about some intricate hand and finger movements, as well as the nuances of how he holds the bow. And then you gotta have a certain angle with the bow. And then he went into this certain part of the composition where he was playing chords. He was playing these 2-note chords, you know. I was just really blown away, to be honest with you. And I'm going to have to listen to that thing again. And it just, I guess it made me think about what we're going to do. It was inspiring me, not only when he said that he practiced 13 hours a day, but then when he said he grew up practicing 8 hours a day. So when he got into the ministry, it was nothing for him to study 8 hours a day. So when you think about the Church of Scientology, that's what I love about the church. Especially Belinda and I went and took a course out at, they call ASHO out in LA, American Saint Hill Organization. And it's just a culture of study. You know, that's what they do. And so it just kind of inspired me to alter my culture a little bit more and just do a little bit more studying, a little bit more practicing. And that's what I think it would benefit us greatly if we studied, tried to study more. Now, I don't know how much you're studying now, but I'm just saying the minister kind of set the bar a little high when he talking about 13 hours. Now, and then some of us have to work. I'm just saying do the best you can. I think that if we can just try to maximize our time, see, the more that we study, actually, the closer we are coming to Allah, if we are studying the right things. So we have to understand what to study. They say, how would they know except they had a teacher? And the teacher had to be sent. Why did you have to have a teacher? Because the teacher tells you what to study. So you won't be studying a whole bunch of stuff that's irrelevant and literally wasting your time. But I thought, and it was a good thing. I think that the subject of angels is real good, and it may behoove us to go into more in-depth study and study all aspects of angels and all aspects of angelic activity or angelic reality. Because I remember once the minister said, somebody asked him, can you tell me what an angel is? And he said it's a highly developed person. So that means that if he's highly developed, then that means that personality in himself, he has an angelic personality that's formed by the self-accusing spirit, that this thing is highly developed. And the more developed it is, when you get around this person, you key these angelic qualities in, you see. And then, like you said, then you got a whole nother kind of angel like Jibril, and then you got the others that come down, that's bringing the knowledge, bringing the reality, bringing the ARC of Allah on the level where the people are where the people are, and it can be communicated with them. Okay, let's go on. Somebody else got something here? We just on 84. We got 114 surahs in. We just on 80 something.
And we have to have time too for Sister Habiba in the end. She has something.
Go ahead now, Sister Habib.
Brother Batin, I had Surah 83 after Sister Belinda.
Sorry about that, sister.
Okay. I can go ahead, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, sister.
Sister Haviva, can you read 83, Surah 19 and 20, please?
Surah 83, Ayat 19. And what will make thee know what the highest places are? It is a written book.
When I looked at those two ayats, I thought first about the analytical mind, and secondly, I thought about the tone scale, and also about being clear, because as we said earlier, a book is really the mind. And I also thought about what I mentioned earlier about your OP, your official paper. The more we work our case, our individual case, the more we work towards clear, the more we use our mind, we will become the written book. Thank you.
Yo, thank you, sister. Yeah, that's great. The written book. What does a book compose of? It's composed of words. What are words? Words are packets of thought. I'm gonna go ahead, brother Luqman. You about to say something?
I was just going to mention where it talks about the record of the righteous in the highest places. If you go across the chart of attitudes, and if you go across the chart of evaluations, the words and the descriptions, the buttons at the top of the scale, when you clear those terms, they actually have ARC with the attributes of Allah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, and we also said that they the minister as well. We can see all of these things in the minister as well, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Mm-hmm. And that's the type of understanding that we really need to have. You know what I mean? That's the connection that we really need to make with these charts, you know, because the way they are presented is though, you know, and then you know, they're attributes of you and me. And that's why he said that this is the highest attributes of you and me. But we get more mass, you know, as Belinda pointed out to me, that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Honorable Mr. Farrakhan, actually become mass of these particular things, you know, for they are perfect examples of the things that are at the top of the chart of attitude. And so as Sister was saying, well, what will make you know what the highest places are? It is a written book. So the highest places are it's as Sister Jacqueline was saying, it's the mind. The mind is the repository of thought, and thought is the origin. Thought is the origin of everything. Thought is the start. Everything starts with a thought. You know what I mean? And if I'm gonna go to the grocery store, I have to think first. I'm going to the grocery store, you know, and then then I think about that food that's at the grocery store, and then my emotions kind of tone scale kind of get up a little bit, and then I get a little enthusiastic, and then I see, oh, lamb chops on sale for $12.99 a pound. And then that effort that I just get on in the car and going over there and get me a couple of pounds, you know. And so
start, change, stop.
That's right. Except when it comes to the eating part, I won't stop eating.
Start changing, keep going.
We'll have a new cycle of action.
Start, change, start.
Assalamu
alaikum. Wa alaikum salam, Sister Tina. We were wondering where you were behind the bushel basket.
I was busted. You said y'all what y'all laying down? You went back to bed, so so I said, "Oh Lord, busted." So so I got up.
All right, we got confession is good for the soul.
Yes, I was so sleepy trying to read these stories this morning after being up all early. But anyway, Sister Jacqueline, what she just said about the highest places, it made me think about something that I had read. It's 87:6. Sister Habiba, with your beautiful voice.
I can't believe this, sis. We on the same wavelength.
For real, praise.
Well, you ought to believe it.
I believe, well, I mean, I do believe it, but that's beautiful. That's where I was coming from, beloved.
Oh, praises.
Actually, it was 87:1 through 15, but we can both handle this together.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So how are we going to do this, Sister Habiba?
Well, I mean, I'm just going to be letting brothers interpret anyway, but I'll read it and for both of us.
Go ahead on. Go ahead on and commence with the reading then, sis.
Okay, let me get my screen to act right again. Hold on, beloved, please. It jumped out of place. Okay. Surah 87, Allah, the Most High. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Ayat 1. Glorify the name of thy Lord, the Most High, who creates, then makes complete, and who measures, then guides, and who brings forth herbage, then makes it dried up, dust-colored, We shall make thee recite, so thou shalt not forget, except what Allah please. Surely he knows the manifest and what is hidden. And we shall make thy way smooth to a state of ease. So reminding indeed prophets. Who fears will mind, and the most unfortunate one will avoid it. Who will burn in the great fire? Then therein he will neither live nor die. He indeed is successful who purifies himself and remembers the name of his Lord, then prays. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. Yes, ma'am. So, so Sister Habiba, you want to go first with yours, or you
Well,
want me to go first?
like I said, you go first because my reading, my brothers are going to interpret it to me.
Okay, all praises to Allah.
All praises
Well,
to Allah. Yes, ma'am.
well, number 6. Can you read 6 again? Verse 6 again?
Yes, ma'am. I'll be honored. We shall make thee recite, so thou shalt not forget.
And when the minister talked to us over the Savior's Day period, it really impressed upon me when he was speaking on our lessons, and he goes back to our lessons a lot when he's talking to us, and so it just reminded me. This verse just reminded me of the lessons that we were brought, by Master Farad Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the minister reminds us, subtle reminders, and we're asked to read and study until we can recite them by heart. And when I read this morning, I said, wow, praise be to Allah. And I never paid this any attention before, but I'm paying it more attention now because my mind is now more on going back to my lessons and making sure I have them in my mind so I don't forget. It's, especially Lost Found Muslim lesson number 1. I noticed that the punctuation in that lesson is so different. And the minister gave us corrected booklets on Lost Found Muslim lesson number 1. And that's our first term examination assignment. In the Supreme Wisdom booklet, it's wrong. It says that number 2 is our first term examination assignment. But the minister corrected that. And the booklet he gave us that's corrected, it says Lost Found 1 is our first term examination assignment. This lesson is answered very near correct, and all students should read and study it until he or she can recite it by heart. That goes on lesson number 1. So that's a big error in our Supreme Wisdom book, So he impaired. He gave us impaired the correction of instructions to the laborers and Lost Found Muslim lesson number 1 when we did our Form 4 in 2012. I believe it was 2012. So it's a pair. I thought about that this morning. And so in short, it's just a reminder of us not to forget our lessons. And Allah is telling us, I made you to recite so you shall not forget. So all praise is due to Allah. That's it. Oh, and when Sister Jacqueline said it's a book, and she was talking about the mind, just imagine what Allah's words will do for our mind if we just continue to hold his word in our mind so he can give us more. That's it. Thank you.
You're welcome, sister. You're welcome. I so appreciate your passion when you talking. You just talk like you are so passionate with what the way you say it, and it radiates.
Oh, praise due to Allah.
And I'm just describing the effect. You are the cause. God.
Well, I have to. Well, sometimes people think that I'm fussing with them or I'm being other than what I am being, but I can't help it. So thank you, brother Bateen, for recognizing that passion for what it is and not that I'm fussing or anything like that. Thank you.
Oh yeah, well it came across good. I mean, and everybody has their different ways of doing it. The same with Sister Ania. She expresses hers in a different way, but it's you know what I mean. She has that presence, and Sister Denise and everybody, you know.
Yes, sir.
Everybody has their own way, but that's just something that stuck out to me as you were talking. You know what I mean? It's just almost like you were giving a sermon on the mountain or something, you know. Y'all about to y'all about to say, you Negro about to go to hell. You better listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying. It's holiness of hell.
Yes, sir. Praise you to Allah.
Ain't no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. There's no bout or doubt it. So anyway,
my husband says that. No doubt about it. My husband says that.
yeah, that's an old Larry Graham song called "Ain't No Bout or Doubt It." Yeah. Yeah, that's for the old school folks though, you know. All y'all young folks, y'all don't know nothing about that.
It's before my time.
Yes, she just had to say that right there. All right, I'm gonna get you. You know you can't escape, see. But anyway, it's 12 o'clock.
Okay.
I got some. Go ahead,
Sister
sis.
Haviva didn't finish.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's finish up with Sister.
Oh,
Haviva.
yes, I did. I stopped at 15.
Okay.
And she
All
wants,
right.
she wants you all to interpret.
Oh, she wants the brothers to interpret 1 through 15 for
1
her.
through 15.
Phonetically.
Or otherwise.
Hey, I could do that right quick. That's the word of Allah. Yeah. Well, see, one thing was at the beginning, he creates, then makes complete. So that's what when he created, that was the first thing. He created the universe as it is. Then he made it complete by altering it, and then the alteration of it made him aware of the imperfections and set into motion that which would ultimately complete or perfect his creation. All right. So he who measures then guides. Number 3. Well, we know that Islam is mathematics. Mathematics is Islam. So he measures it. Mathematics is measurement. So he takes the measurement and then he guides based on the mathematics. He brings forth herbage, and then can't nobody bring no herbage but Allah. I can plant a seed, but I can't bring the herbage. Then he makes it dried up, dust colored. Then that's he's taking it into the cycle of action. Start, change. Change is when the herbage is brought forth and destroy is, I guess, when it dries up. So we shall make thee recite so thou shalt not forget. And I guess that's one thing. When you recite it, when you learning your Easter speech as a child, that's what you do. You get in there, you read it, you recite what you read until it becomes ingrained in your mind. And this is one of the things that I think is so valuable about the concert last night with the minister. And he was talking about the 13 hours. You get that stuff. You spend 13 hours for months on an instrument, you're going to get that bad boy. And I'm just saying, what I looked at, like I said, being a musician, not just I don't do music as a hobby. Most of my livelihood has been music. And so when I look and I see that, man, I was like, I didn't realize it. When I first heard the minister, the first time I heard him play the violin was on that White Man's Heaven is a Black Man's Hell. That was released back in 1980. And I was like, man, you know, when he starts off, and because he likes to do that 2-note chord, and I'm kind of liking that kind of violin playing. You know, that's what they do. The country western fiddlers, they call them. You know, they play those little 2-note chords, you know, using the fifths, and because the violin then is tuned in fifths. And then of course, now I don't want to lose anybody with the jargon of the fourths and the fifths and all that kind of stuff. But that's what I got. I said, look, man, I ain't serious. I ain't never been serious enough about music. And it could be that maybe I ain't serious enough about this tech and about studying and about wanting to try to do something about my case. Maybe now, I don't know. I don't know for sure. I'm getting that idea when I look and see a man that dedicated like that. And I'm like, man, I don't know, man, maybe the doggone Lazarus syndrome had me, you know. You put me on the nigrometer and it's gonna bust the needle off that bad boy. Because that's what it is. It's about we lazy, you know. And then you'll find that if you're not lazy about one thing, you're probably lazy about something else. And so we oftentimes want to say, well, I ain't lazy. But you just thinking about one aspect of your life that you ain't lazy about. But it's something in your life you lazy as hell about. Look at it. You understand what I'm saying? So let's find all of these types of things. Go ahead, Sister Belinda.
The minister's performance, now I don't know about music like this, but he had no charts in front of him. So he memorized all of that.
Yes, he did.
Praise.
Yes, he did. And that's almost like memorizing 3 or 4 surahs of the Quran. You know, and then you memorizing all of the nuances and stuff like that. It was a sight to behold. I just got new insight on that thing last night, and you can see he was not, and I think that's one reason why it's taking it so long to get released, because he was not really satisfied with his performance.
Wow.
He wasn't. I mean, he was. You know, he's just like real critical. You know, I thought I was critical of myself, but he was real. You know, he was critical. But I think, see, after a while, you go back and you get a little distance on it, and then you listen to it again, and you can see, man, you know what we were saying as musicians was, the minister was jamming. you know. All right, so we shall make thee recite so thou shalt not forget, except what Allah please. So Allah calls you to forget certain things because it might bother you, it might hinder you. And we shall make thy way smooth to a state of ease. So reminding thee indeed prophet. So this, in other words, Allah is in control. He can make this thing smooth. When he makes it smooth for a purpose, he makes it rocky and turbulent for a purpose. He who fears will mind, and the most unfortunate one will avoid it, who will burn in the great fire. Then therein he will neither live nor die. Now that's got to be, that's something that I don't even want to think about. He indeed is successful who purifies himself. In other words, that's what we are doing. You are purifying yourself by engaging in the understanding and by engaging your mind into the wisdom of Allah. And remembers the name of his Lord, then praise. And when you remember him, you remember the standard that he brings. You remember the highest regions of activity, highest regions of thoughts. And so this facsimile, this mental picture, it draws you because that's what you are. And it causes you to overcome and to cast off. That's my new favorite word. Cast off that which is impure in yourself. But if you prefer the life of this world, while the hereafter is better and more lasting. See, the thing is that come lag. See, the deception of the come lag comes right there. Because see, some people like this world. They ain't thinking about the hereafter. The hereafter, Allah has promised you the hereafter, but you don't see it. You don't see it. So you're not giving it the due that it should be. You're not giving it the due that Allah tells you and warns you, admonishes you. Okay. All right. So you got something on that, brother Lukman?
Real brief. When I originally had studied ayats 1, actually ayats 2 through 5, it was along the same lines of what you had spoken about as well. When you deal with that cycle of action, you have start, you have growth, you have conservation, you have decay, and then you have death. And in those ayats are each step of that cycle of action. In ayat number 2, the create and the complete are the two extremes. That's your start and your stop. The brings forth the herbage, I looked at that as being the growth stage, and then measure and guide was the stage of conservation, and then dried up or dust colored was the state of decay. Mm-hmm. So those three ayats describe the 5 parts of the cycle of action. And then earlier, I think it was Sister Cheryl when she had asked the question about should we force our people to do this. And when I was speaking about reminding, this was actually the ayat that had came to my mind where it says, so remind, because reminding indeed profits. It profits. He who fears will mind, and the most unfortunate will avoid it. Our duty is only to, ask people to come to the Dianetics or remind people about the meetings. And those who fear whatever it is that they fear, they'll get involved with the Dianetics. They'll follow the instructions of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But it says the most unfortunate one will avoid it. And you have some of our people, they avoid the Dianetics.
That's right.
Because they are fearful of what they have done or what we have done to others when the Dianetics is dealing with what has been done to us. There are some of us that don't want our secrets. We don't want to confront. We don't want to confront the secrets, perhaps, of the things that we have done to other people. So we avoid it altogether. And then it says that those will be unfortunate. They're going to burn in a great fire. Then therein he will neither live nor die. There's a verse in the book of Revelations that talks about the lake of fire. And it says that there will be those who will be asking for death, but death will flee from them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then it says, and then the successful ones are the ones who purify themselves. Well, it seems like the purified ones are the ones that go through the process that the minister has given to us.
That's right. Trials purify.
Yeah, trials will purify. I've had to confront some things in the Dianetics, and I'm still confronting things every day, and they're not comfortable. But if we understand, I would say the number one rule of confront with regards to our own shortcomings, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, get rid of guilt. I think it's study guide number 7. He said, because Allah knew who we was and he found us.
Absolutely.
And we all didn't join the Nation of Islam. Allah chose us to be a part of the Nation of Islam. So it's not that we were just so wise that we wrote our letter and it was accepted. There had to be someone who accepted our letter. So we have been handpicked, I believe, by Allah's grace, by the Savior, to do the work that we're doing. And we just got to follow the instructions. And then once we master these skills, then we go back and we talk to those who have not accepted yet, and we put a little Islam in the baby bottle and slowly use maybe creative processing to get them up to scale to get them here. I think if Brother Batin does the podcast, I think that will be the way that that one of the angels can go forth and sound the trumpet to get our people. Hint, hint.
Yeah, well, one thing about it, we got to be able to. I have no problem with it, except that if we can't get them on this, if we can't get them on this call, seem like if we could get them, if we can't get them on the call, then that's a sign of being able to get them on the podcast too. So I'm just saying. So all of that has to be taken into consideration.
Oh yes, sir.
I am certainly, you know, whatever we can do. That's what Mr. Hubbard say. The goal is to do the most amount of good to the most amount of people, and I'm all for that. You know what I mean? But then at the same time, you know, we just we got to use you know, we use wisdom and because like you say, you know, we market who you gonna tell about the podcast? Same people we telling about the call. I'm just saying. But anyway, we're gonna, you know, I don't know what day you're gonna set up your class, brother.
It'll either be a Tuesday morning or Thursday morning. So I mean, no, yours is Tuesday. It'll be Wednesday or Friday morning, so it doesn't interfere with what you're doing.
Right. So you know, whenever you decide that whatever morning is going to be, I'm thinking that what we may do is that either a Wednesday, or the Friday, depending on what you're gonna do. We will maybe come back for a little while on one day a week, trying to finish up or trying to clean up these ayats that we did not cover during Ramadan. And we ain't got to do it right now because we getting ready to go into Eid, and you know, we don't want to trouble nobody with none of that stuff, you know, for the rest of this rest of this week anyway. And so we can come back to that. We may want to come back with some other innovative way that we could do it. So anyway, thank you. It's been a wonderful Ramadan. Sister Cheryl got something to say right quick.
Right quick. So you all are going to come out, you and brother will come out with the schedule fairly soon. Is that what you're saying? And the only reason is I want to adjust my schedule. I want to start going to the org twice a week, but I don't want to interfere what we're doing, so I can make my schedule as soon as I hear from you all. So that's all I'm saying.
Right. Well, that's gonna pretty much be on Brother Lukeman what day he chooses to do his class. And then what I'm going to do is gonna be temporary, you know, because my idea is to continue to do STW on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then we talked about the podcast or whatever, you know, that can be. I don't think we need to be in no hurry, you know, because I think it's going to need to be kind of well thought out. So soon as Brother Lukeman decides what he's going to do, we're going to do the Quranic thing around that. We might even come up with some innovations to deal with that, you know, what we missed. Because I don't want to. I want to revisit all of these ayats that I flag, because every year I flag stuff, but I never come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
So this year I was gonna get the stuff that I flagged in the past, but I said, well, no, I can't do that. I need to get my present time understanding, you know.
New unit of time.
And that's right, absolutely. And flag those things and pay attention to those things first. But anyway, we're gonna bring it. We're gonna go ahead on and put a pin in, as they say. We're gonna have to be part 2. Otherwise, it's gonna be part 2 of the Holy Ghost revival. You know, we had that Holy Ghost revival yesterday, and so, but we're gonna have some in the future too, because I'm trying to cook up a few things. I've been having a few things in the stew pot. It just ain't ready yet. You know what I mean? So we're gonna do some things with these different courses. We're gonna do some things with the TRs. I want to do something with the TRs, but I want to try to come up with something that we can do on a real practical instead of just a drill for TRs. Something that you can do practical application which would drill you or help you and I to identify drills that we do that we can, our awareness of them can turn them into actual tiara drills. And there are several things that we do daily that can fit that description. So with that being said, Ramadan Mubarak to everybody. Thank you so much. This month has just really been magical, almost in the sense that when I was describing the minister in my little document yesterday, when I said the magic of Farrakhan, I have experienced the magic of Ramadan. Ramadan. And so thank each and every one of you for your participation. Now, of course, tomorrow we'll be back tomorrow because tomorrow is a regular STW day. However, the Eid prayer starts around 9:30, what will be 10:30 our time, and the plan is that we can all watch the participate in the Eid prayer from during STW. If that's all right with you, if you want to do that. If you don't want to do it, you'll do it another way. I understand. You know, Ramadan is it's a congregational thing, but it's a personal thing too. So whatever you feel comfortable with, but we will have the Eid prayer for you.
So you're saying we get on STW at the regular time, and then
right.
and then you have it on big screen for us to participate together.
Right. So when the prayer comes, when the prayer commences, we will share the screen. We will broadcast it from STW, and I think the minister is speaking on the Ramadan prayer line in the morning, and so I know I am going to be taking some notes. So that may be a good discussion for us tomorrow, is what the minister say. Even before the Eid prayer and even after the Eid prayer, we can talk about what the minister had spoke to us. Because the Eid prayer ain't nothing but a ritual. You know, the minister is the real deal, the real meat on the bone, if you see what I'm saying. All right. So so that's the plan as of now. You have any questions, anything like that, feel free to reach out. All right, we're going to go ahead on and land this plane. See, we already, it's 2 days in a row. We got hour past the planned time, which is a wonderful thing. It's a sign of life, you know. All right. So at this point, we'll just say the end of session, end of the Ramadan Quranic Straightwire. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed what everybody has brought some very beautiful things. And I think that, you know, we have gained a wonderful sense of family this month. So right now I'm going to ask Sister Jacqueline if she will take us into the end of session and
Yes, sir,
whatever else
brother
she got to say. All right.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, ma'am.
Family, let's take a few moments to prepare ourselves for end of session. Thank you. Rapidly sketch over the session just ended. Begin. Thank you. Sketch over what you have been doing again with particular attention to how you have been sitting. Begin. Thank you. Go over the period of the session with regard only to what you have been doing with your hands and things in the exterior world you have heard during this session. Begin. Thank you. Fix your attention upon a pleasant object near you now. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Brother Batin, at this time, we want to remember to do a group prayer.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I would, and we can do, we can do the group prayer, but what I really was wanting you to remind me of was just to remind me and remind us of the group prayer. It will work better if we all do it. I don't know who all did it last. I did mine last night, and I actually did one this morning too, where I'm praying for everybody in STW, everybody that's here, everybody that's not here. Let's pray for the spiritual health, the mental health, the physical health, and economic health. Spirit, physical, mental, economic. Oh Allah, bless this group spiritually, mentally, physically, and economically, and guide us to that which would make these things manifest in the quickest way possible that you would approve of, oh Allah. We thank you, Allah, for this month of Ramadan, and wish that you would continue to bless each and every one of us that have dedicated part of our lives to the resuscitation and the understanding of your words this month. Thank you for the word. Thank you for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and all of those who have sacrificed and made an effort to get that word to us. Help us to become one with these words, to develop, maintain, and evolve our integrity, our ethics, our high morals, our love for one another, our love on all of the dynamics. Thank you so much, Allah. And may we continue to strive in the way of righteousness, to accept our own and be ourselves, which is a righteous Muslim. In the name of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. So what we do, so we pray for the spiritual, mental, physical, and economic health of each other. You know, and let's try to remember that. I mean, we when we say bless Muhammad and the followers of Muhammad, well, we're talking about everybody, but we're trying to concentrate. we trying to concentrate the effort here so we can see, you know. And soon as Allah bless you and me with the blessing, which he always keeps his promise, you know,
But-
let's bear witness.
Brother
Let me
T,
know if you get a blessing, you know, if you get a $50,000 check
Yeah,
in
hold
the
on.
mail, let me know so I can borrow some.
Okay. Brother T, my guest wants to come tomorrow, but I know Brother Ishmael and them doing the Eid Fest. Is it tomorrow
It's
at
in the morning.
9:30?
Yes, yeah.
So we're not having it for tomorrow.
We are having it, and then when it comes on, we will defer to it, and we will just share the screen.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay.
But before before that, we're going to be talking about the minister's comments at Fajr prayer line for Ramadan.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay.
That sounds good. Yes, sir. So I can let her know.
Team, that's going to be on NOI.
I'm pretty sure it will be noi.org.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we will have it. And I know we probably ask us to do a couple of rock eyes or whatever, but you can do, if you want to, you know, we can do the rock eyes. You can do the rock eyes where you are, you know what I mean? And while we sharing the screen, or if you just prefer to do it on your own, I mean, that's all good, you know, then you can just come back later if, you know, if that's your preference, but it's only 2 rock eyes.
Right.
It's only 2 rock eyes, and then we should be able to just do that and not even miss a beat. So that is it for this, for Ramadan 2021, or I forget what the Islamic year is, 1442. Ramadan 1442. That's gonna do it. May Allah continue to bless each and every one of you. I got to get up here into this market so I can get me some lamb. It's raining now, but I'm gonna be like the postman. Nothing rain, snow, heat, a darker night.
They've already sold out of all of those lamb, brother.
All right, well, I'm headed to your house then, because I know you must have got some. I know you got my lamb over there, sister, and I'm coming to get it.
I think I saw President Clinton.
I was just about to ask.
I saw President Clinton.
I was just about to ask your address, brother Batim.
Yeah, just come over here, and whatever you see the guard dogs, you'll know where you're at.
Not the dogs. Oh no.
Rude.
The dogs out.
Say, who let the dogs out?
Yeah.
All right. Love you all.
Okay.
Inshallah.
Love you too.
That.
We'll see you tomorrow, inshallah.
Inshallah.
I love when everybody's smiling, these beautiful smiles. Y'all spoiling me, man.
You deserve to be spoiled, Brother Barteen. You and that beautiful wife of yours, you all deserve to be spoiled.
Well, you all deserve it too. You all deserve. Everybody does. I just appreciate all of you so much.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We appreciate
So
you.
what we do now, let's show our appreciation by believing and doing good. Let's do.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot.